channel, and as you can see from the topic, I am making a video about my NICU journey. So basically, actually Mardi Gras morning, I woke up and my face was swollen. I didn't think anything of it. But it was my sister. She was so dramatic when she saw me. She was like, "Oh my God, look your face." Like, I looked like Will Smith when he played on Hitch. That's how swollen my face was. So I didn't pay any mind. Went on by my day. Everyone asking me, like, "What's wrong with your face? Did you eat something?" I'm like, "No, I'm not allergic to anything." Whatever. We actually went to Lafayette for the parade. And I was so ashamed because everybody was acting like they never seen a swollen face before. Like, my face was so swollen, I could see my nose. Like, if I was laying down, I could see my nose. But I didn't want to make myself scared, so I was like, whatever, I'm fine. So my sister kept saying, "Well, it could be your blood pressure. It could be your blood pressure. Just go check." I'm like, okay, whatever. Going by my day. And then, like, that night, we got home. And I was like getting in the turn lane to go to the hospital. I was like, "No, don't freak yourself out. Don't go to the hospital." I turned around, went back to my mom's house. Okay, here come the Tuesday. My face is like, it's getting worse. And then the Wednesday, I called, either the Tuesday or the Wednesday, I called my doctor to tell her what was going on. So she was like, "Oh, it could be too much protein in your urine." I'm like, okay. So I had to do like this 24-hour urine thing where you collect all your urine. So I did that, and then she wanted to see me. Well, I really spoke with the nurse first. So I'll never forget when I walked to the back and the nurse was coming, and she was like, "Oh my God," like, she was shocked to see my face like that. So then she was like, "Hold on a second," and she went and get the doctor, and I could see the expression on her face. She was like, "What the hell?" So she was like, I guess she wanted to stay calm because she didn't want to freak me out. So she was like, "Let's do an ultrasound," and we did an ultrasound, and this was in February. My due date wasn't until like May 14th. I never forget, my due date was on a Friday, which was the same day my cousin was graduating from college. So we would joke like, "Oh, I'm always trying to make everything about me," whatever. It's supposed to be her date, but whatever. So she do the ultrasound, and she's like, "Your baby is not growing. She stopped growing." I'm like, "Huh?" And like from there, she just went like into super doctor mode, and she explained what was the reason why I had severe preeclampsia. Some call it severe toxemia. It's basically when something within the placenta, whatever, goes wrong with the placenta, and it causes you to have high blood pressure. Your baby stops growing. It can affect the baby. It can actually kill the baby and kill you. You swell. And what's crazy is that, like, I went to the doctor in December. We found out what was happening in December 28th actually, and everything was fine. I went to the doctor in January, and it only was to, hear the heartbeat. That was it. But maybe like in October or November, my weight went like up to 10 pounds, and me and the nurse looking at each other like, she was like, "Look like you actually lost weight." So that was really the first sign of preeclampsia, but we didn't know. So basically, weight gain, like rapid weight gain, is one of the signs, but we didn't think nothing of it. When we were doing the ultrasound to find out the gender, I guess everything was fine, but it goes to show you how fast things change. But my doctor, like I said, she went straight into super doctor mode, and she called a high-risk doctor who's located in Lafayette, and she made like my appointment, and she was like, "Just go home, pack your bag, call if you have to call, let them know you're going to the doctor in Lafayette." the hospital in Lafayette and the doctor. So I'm like, okay, like everything just was moving fast, and like my blood pressure was like 140 over like 80. My blood pressure was stroke mode, and my blood pressure, it continued to rise. Like even when I got to the doctor's office, he was like, your blood pressure right now, you can have a stroke at any moment. So I'm sitting there like, come again, sir? Because I'm like, wait, what? So he decided to admit me to Lafayette General, and from there life just went a whole different direction, and it's still going in whatever direction they want to go in. The plan was to keep me in the hospital until I was like, I think 32 or 37 weeks. At the time when all that was going on, I was like 26 weeks and some days. So this is the Thursday. The Friday, I made my 27 weeks. So like between the Friday and the Saturday, they eventually like got, everything kind of under control. My blood pressure was, low. The swelling had went down. I had, like, my weight had dropped. And then the Sunday, I was sleeping, like everything was going so well, to the point like they had me so hooked up to all kind of stuff. Like I was able to like really sleep, and that was my first time in the hospital, staying like in the hospital. And that, I would never want to do that again, because they were coming like in and out the room all night, checking me, checking the baby, this and that, my reflexes, it was just like a lot of stuff, my blood pressure, my vitals, everything like that. And then they came to do it, and my blood pressure was high on my right side, which made the nurse scared, and she showed it. And then she was like, well, let me check your other side. And then it was higher on the left side. So she left out the room, and then they came back like in a gang of 5 people, and that's when I knew like everything went left. And this was like probably like 5 o'clock in the morning, and like I don't know, a lot of it is kind of still a blur, but they were like checking my reflexes, they were hitting my knee, and they would look at me to see if I was moving, and nothing moved. And that's when they knew like, okay, it's getting pretty bad. And it just went so left out of nowhere. And like I had to call my mom, because I wanted to stay at the hospital by myself. Like it was just other things that was going on besides the preeclampsia, that I was just like, okay, I just need to be with myself for a little while. And I called my mom, and I'm like, they're gonna do an emergency C-section. So they put me on Tylenol and morphine, because that's when I started catching this horrible headache. And then it just kept going left. And then the doctor, he was actually sick, so he had to come in, and he was like, I'm gonna have to do an emergency C-section if things gonna get better. So like they kept coming in, and they're like, are you fine? Don't lie to us, we can tell you're not fine. And I was like with one eye open, because like the morphine made me feel like a person was coming out of me. That's how out of it I was. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And I was like feeling horrible. And then that's when they did the C-section, and they were surprised. Like at 2:05, I gave birth to Leah Giselle Como, and she was 1 pound 12 ounces. I forgot how long she was, but she's tall. She was low. That was the only thing that didn't make me scared to see her. Well, I didn't really see her until like 2 days later, when I was finally able to get out of bed. But just because she was so long, I wasn't scared to hold her when I was finally able to hold her, because I didn't hold her until maybe like a week later. Yeah, I think it was like a week later I was able to hold her. But they were surprised that she came out crying, and she was swinging. They called her feisty the whole time in the NICU, because she was feisty. And I remember the neonatal doctor, he was like, oh, she's so feisty. Like he showed her to me, and then he asked me again. He was like, you staying with the name Leah? And I was like, whatever, like that. So, but I was like, they were just so surprised that she came out crying, because I was under a lot of medication. But that whole situation, it was scary, because I really didn't know how it was gonna go. And I never forget texting someone who I was friends with at the time, And I told her, I was like, if, you know, I don't make it, you can have my laptop and you can have all my stories. Because she was like, no, don't say that. But like, to be in that situation and not know if you're gonna make it or your baby is gonna make it or either one of y'all is gonna make it, it's scary. It really is, you know. But that's how that went. Leah stayed, like I said, she stayed in the hospital from Valentine's Day until May 14th or May 15th. She actually came home the day after I was supposed to have her. So it was like basically like how they, it's, some people find it complicated, but basically the day your child go home is the day the doctor, that's the date, like that's their birthday to the doctor. So technically she's 3 months behind. So like I always give her 2 birthdays. I give her the day she was born and the day she came home. So like being a NICU mom and being a preemie mom, it was hard. Well, it still is hard because she still kind of go through it. But Leah went through a lot, like with her health, and this was my first time being a mom. And then like in a few days I became a single mom. Well, like I'm not a single mom now, but at the time I was a single mom. Like I was only in my early 20s. Well, I'm 25 now, but I was only in my 20s when I had her. Like I did it by myself, you know. I had help from my mom and my sister, of course, but that was my only help. Like I didn't have any friends, you know. Friends come through and I didn't have that, you know, and that's just the truth with it. But at the end of the day, you know, I didn't make her with my mom or my sister, you know. I made her with a man who, you know, changed on us, but I would never hold that against him. Even if he feel like today, oh, I hold that against him, I would never block my blessings and hold that against him. It's just a lesson learned. You know, you can know somebody for years and think that you know that person, and then one thing will change them. And I learned that children change people for the good and the bad, because she definitely changed me for the good. And you know, we went through, and I just can't wait till she gets older so I can tell her what we went through, you know, because we went through that together. Only we know what we went through. Even if she don't really know, I know. You know, I was there. Like, to see your baby so helpless and she's so small, and you have to see this baby who's supposed to still be inside of you, and it was a lot. But that is my NICU journey. Well, that is some of my NICU journey. My next video will be 10 tips on how to survive your NICU journey. But it's a lot. But hopefully my next video will help you guys. Thank you for watching, and please hit the subscribe button to be updated.